This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk you through this 2023 Flagstaff Super Lite travel trailer. Model number 26 FKBS. Alright, so this is not a floor plan video, this is a how-to video, so I'm just going to show you some of the features and how they work, okay? Okay. So you have power stabilizers on this trailer. One switch controls both rear, and the other switch controls both front. Very simple. Okay. This is an outside shower. I think he left it open, so yeah. Outside shower. Just you know, kids, dogs, feet, whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. Now right here, we have the water. So the city water hookup is right here. This is the most common way to get water to the trailer. You just hook up the city water, turn it on, and you're all set. Now, if you're camping someplace without city water, you can pre-fill your fresh water tank right here, and then use the onboard pump to pump water. All the plumbing will work as though you've got city water. So you can do that also. Also over here, this is the black tank flush here. So after you dump your black tank, you can leave the valve open, like it states on this sticker here. Leave the valve open, and then you can screw the hose at the dump station right on here, and you can actually flush out your black tank. It'll clean off the sensors, you know, so you get a good reading. So it's a good thing to do, obviously. And then this has to do with winterizing. So this is where you would draw the antifreeze in for winterizing the trailer, okay? And cable and satellite through right here. You have a power awning with LED strip. You have a second door here. You have fold down stairs for this door too. This goes right into the bedroom. Okay. Power and TV signal, and then you have a bracket to mount the TV. Your griddle hangs right here. There's also a quick connect LP line. It's in the trailer in the drawer, but it will connect. One end will connect right here, and the other one, let's see if we can find it here. We'll go, oh boy, let me see if I can find it here. Where are you at? I guess I should have looked first, huh? Let me see here. Maybe I'm in the wrong spot. Hold on. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry. Actually, there's a table that mounts there. And your griddle hangs here, and this is the quick connect for the LP right here. Okay, so it's actually supposed to sit here. Okay. Outside speakers, of course. This is the vent for the range hood. That's over the range, obviously. So if you're going to use the fan and the range hood to vent to the outside, make sure there's a baffle in here. Just reach up and flip it open with your thumb or index finger so the baffle flaps freely. You always want to flap it freely or else it won't vent to the outside. When you're traveling or in storage, you can just snap it shut. Okay? This is obviously the furnace vent. Okay, I'm just going to look in here for a second. Okay. So, you can actually crank these slide rooms manually in an emergency. So they give you a crank for that. Right here, there's a 3/4 inch hex on the frame, and the other one is over here somewhere. Let's see, right here. So I know you probably can't see it, but it's a 3/4 inch hex. Hopefully you can see that. I don't know, but so you can actually crank it manually in an emergency. The other crank, the smaller one, is for your power tongue jack. So if your power tongue jack was to fail, for whatever reason, you could just pull this plug out of the top, put the crank on there, and you can crank it manually to get yourself hitched and unhitched in an emergency. So, two ways to get out of trouble. Let's see. That's the table that hangs where I have the griddle. Remember I had it hanging a little far back and not where it's supposed to be? Well, on the rail I had, that's what hangs there is this table, okay? You have some reducers for your power cord. This is just your dump hose. Okay, you access it's in camping mode right now, but the bypass valves on your water heater here are in camping mode. So, but when it comes to bypassing it in the winter, you do that right in here. You can see them back there actually. Okay. The water heater, the switches to control it are inside. It works on both gas and electric. There is water in the tank, but never run it without water in it. You always have to remember that if you've drained it, you always got to fill it back up before you turn it on. This is the drain right here, and it takes an 1 1/16 6-point socket to pull it out. There's an anode rod attached to it, so it's really long. Always make sure you let the pressure out of the water heater before you unscrew this, or it'll shoot out of there like a cannonball with water behind it. And never do it when it's hot, so you don't want to scald yourself. So keep that in mind, but that's where you drain it. I'll show you the switches inside. Okay, so you have two deep cycle marine batteries wired together at 12 volts. So it's 12 volts, but just double the storage capacity. The reason you have that mainly is because you have a power. Well, you have an inverter. The inverter inverts 12 volt DC to 110 AC. So you need a lot of storage. Plus you have a solar panel, so you need a place to store the energy at. So you have two batteries, two LP tanks, which are full. And we'll show you how the hitch works when you pick up. And there's also a kill switch for the battery. It's right, see if I can show it to you, right there. So keep in mind that that's there. If you ever want to shut the batteries off, it's right there. Okay? All right. Okay. Docking lights. There. Okay. So this is a 50 amp system. So you have a 50 amp cord, and then we give you the reducer to reduce it down to a 30, and that other one to go down to a 20. Just remember, you can't really run the air conditioner on it on 20, so you can run everything else in the trailer, but no AC. And back here where we started, you have it's pre-wired for a backup camera, so it takes a Furrion backup camera kit if you're interested. And then you have a ladder, which is great because it makes it easy to inspect the roof. Manufacturer states every 60 days you should inspect your roof. Make sure everything's in good shape. Make sure that there's no cracking or separation at any of the sealant. Make sure that there's no damage to roofing material or roofing attachments by, let's say, low branches or road debris, that sort of thing. So make sure you keep after that. It should be part of your regular maintenance. It's very important, obviously. Okay. Okay, so here's your control panel here. We'll start with some lights here. Okay, so we have lights. Right now the tanks were not dumped after yet because we were prepping it, so you can see the levels there. It was filled with water. Connect obviously is to connect the to the app, right, if you want to do that. Your awning is right here. Your two slide outs are here. This is the Wi-Fi Ranger right here that says Booster Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi Ranger is a signal booster. It's got an antenna on the roof, and then it's also a router. So basically, if you look at this sticker, your Wi-Fi Ranger is Tenton 4383, right? So what you do is you'll look in all your family's cell phones and tablets, and you'll find Tenton 4383, and you'll make up a password so it logs out automatically, right? Then in a browser you'll go to this address here at the bottom. That address will take you to the page for the Wi-Fi Ranger. The temporary password here is Change Me Now 4383. It's the middle line. So you'll make up a new password for that. Once you get logged onto that, you'll see everything the Wi-Fi Ranger sees, all the public Wi-Fi. So you would seek out, let's say, the campground Wi-Fi, and you would log onto it. So basically all your devices are going to log onto the router automatically, and then you're going to have to physically log on to the campground Wi-Fi. But it's a really super great signal booster, and you get really good Wi-Fi. So that's the Wi-Fi Ranger. You can always learn more about it if you want. You just scan that doohickey there, that code, and it'll take you to their website. So, water heater on gas is right here. Electric is right here. Your water pump is right here. And then you have tank heaters on all your tanks, so it extends your camping season. So you have on all of your black, your gray, and your freshwater tanks, you have heating pads, so you can, like I said, it extends your camping season. So that's right there. That's about the app if you want to use your phone. Your thermostat is pretty self-explanatory. You have the modes in the system and the zone, right? It's it works like all the rest of them do. There's nothing unique about it. Okay. So I stated that this has a power inverter. It also has a power converter, right? All trailers have a converter. That's over here. That in the converter you have your circuit breakers. Come on. So you got 110 AC here as long as you're plugged in, and you have circuit breakers just like at home, and then it's labeled here. Then the power is converted to 12 volt DC over here. You got 12 volt fuses and they're all labeled, right? This is also a battery tender. So when you're plugged in, it's always going to sense how much energy your batteries need up front, and it'll always keep them charged. Of course, when you're pulling down the road, your tow vehicle will charge your batteries, and the solar panels will be charging them as it can, depending on how much sunlight there is and all the other factors, you know, time of day, all that sort of thing, weather. Now, that was the converter. So that converts AC to DC. So this right here is the inverter. You turn it on just like that. What the inverter does, it converts or inverts DC to AC power. So you got 12 volt DC in the batteries, right? And it's going to invert that to AC, 110 AC, and send it to your receptacles, right? And so basically what it comes down to is if you have an AC appliance, let's say a blender or a hair dryer or whatever you have, and you don't have any AC power to plug into, it will take the DC, 12 volt DC for the batteries, and it will invert it to 110 AC so you can run small AC appliances, right? Now there's no reason to constantly invert power. You hold it for a minute to shut it off. It takes a, so there's no, if you're not inverting, you don't really have to have it on, but that's where you turn it on and off, okay? Now we're talking power. I'm jumping around a bit, but I want to keep on the subject. You come back here, and this is your solar controller for your solar panel. So right now the batteries are set at flooded, which is right. I gotta get that thing off, it's making me nuts here. Okay. So the only button you worry about for here is B, right? So let me get back to here. Right. So now in the system, in your batteries, you have 13.6 volts, right? You push it again, and right now you're gaining, because it's a cloudy day as you can see, you're only gaining 0.8 amps from the sun. You see the picture of the sun with the arrow to it pointing towards the panel. So it's telling us we're only gaining 0.8 amps. It'll change depending on the conditions outside, right? You push it again, 100% charged. Push it again, and you've got 35 amp hours. That's just how much you have in storage, right? Back again, and you go back to 13.6. So B is all you pay attention to. Now, if it was wired, the batteries are wired together as one, so you only really have one battery. It just doubles the storage capacity. So you just have to push B. The rest of it is a booster, some AC. You've got a place to charge a phone or something in an emergency. But this is the solar controller for the solar panel. Now, if it's flashing FUL and it will not respond, the button won't respond, it's telling you the batteries are full. The solar panel has no room to send any more amps. There's no room in the batteries, so it shut the panel down until the level of DC power in the batteries drop. Once that happens, we'll go back to your normal thing here. But FUL plus flashing means that there's no room in it, and that's all it's telling you. It's not broke, it's just telling you there's no room, okay? Alrighty, so let me come back here. Alright, so that's the system. So obviously you have a microwave, works like any other microwave. This is the range hood vent, or fan and vent. I showed you the venting outside. I told you to open the baffle if you remember. So you always want to open that baffle. Your range, I don't know if he's got the gas turned on here. I think he does. Let me make sure here. We just hooked up the tank, so it's going to take a few sparking, unless he shut up. Let me just make sure here. We just put the tanks on, and no one's lit this. There we go. So you have to work past the bubble of air in the line, but we've done that. So it's that simple. You have three knobs for the 3 burners. You have the sparker, which you turn clockwise to spark. This is for the battery. I'm sorry. That's not for the battery. That's for the oven pilot light. The oven, and the oven has a pilot light, and it's down here all the way to the back. I can sort of spark it. Maybe you can see. Yeah. So you can see it's back there. So to light the oven, you go to the picture of the flame. You depress it. You keep it depressed. You spark with the other hand until you see the pilot light down there light. After it lights, you still hold it in for another 10 or 15 seconds to heat up the thermocouple. Then you go to operating temperature, and it runs like, you know, cycles like an oven does. When you shut it off, the pilot light goes out. So you have to relight the pilot light every time you use the oven. Okay, always travel with this shut. Your keys are hanging right there on your faucet. Now this is a 12-volt DC refrigerator, so it has a compressor. It just runs on 12 volts. Okay, always keep that latch when you're traveling so you don't dent your doors. This is your carbon monoxide LP gas detector. It should always be green. If it's not green, get it serviced. Okay. You need to, when you're traveling, travel with the table in the down position. So you want to drop it down onto these cleats here. There's 4 of them there. You do that just by pushing this to the right, and there's hinges here, and you just collapse it down. It'll come down and sit right on it. The reason you do that, because you don't want it to bounce around and break something. You know, crack a window or dent something. So always put it in the stove position when you're traveling. Alrighty. This is your TV remote here, right? This one is your sound bar remote right here, and this one is your fireplace remote. So, one thing I have to tell you, when you run your furnace come winter time, we couldn't burn. It was so hot the last couple days that we could only run it in a limited way, the LP furnace. So I burned a lot of the oils off of it. Right, normally I'll run it for 20 minutes, a half hour. So when you run it, you might get that smell. It's not, you know, just open your door and run it for another 10 minutes or so and it'll go away. I'm just telling you that. I'm not 100% sure that I ran long enough, but I couldn't get it to, it just kept shutting down because of the heat, so please keep that in mind anyway. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, so the fireplace, you have a remote here, okay? You have intensity of the fire, you have temperature here, right? You can set the thermostat. Right there the fan kicked on. It's really kicking out heat right now. You can change it from Celsius to Fahrenheit, and you have a timer on it also, so you can set it to turn on and off when you want. It's a really good space heater. It really kicks out the heat, so on those days where where you don't need to use your furnace and your limited supply of LP, you can just use campground power. So that's kind of cool. All right. Now I have this pulled away right now. This TV bracket will snap into place. It locks into place. So you can see this catch here, and then this piece right here. When you push it back, this will latch onto here, so it won't flip around when you're traveling. So make sure you latch it into place. Other thing to remember, see this is green right here. I think you can see that hopefully. That's the digital, that tells you the signal booster for the digital antenna's on. I could shut it off, but you won't get a good picture. You always want that to be green. So keep that in mind too, okay? When it comes to your sound bar, it plays FM radio, no AM. They've been doing that a lot lately, shipping these things with just FM. I don't get it, but anyway, maybe I'm out of touch. I suppose most people nowadays, most kids don't even know there's AM radio. So anyway, FM radio, you can stream off a USB right there. You have 2 speaker zones, A and B. A is inside the trailer, B is outside. You have Bluetooth, so you can stream wirelessly from your phone or your tablet. So it does everything you need to do and then some. Alright. You have your theater seats. You have controls here. Plus you got the ripcord there for your footrest. Like I said, well, I didn't say, but when this is in the down position, you can turn it into a bed, obviously. Okay, let me look around here. See how I'm doing. Okay. So the bedroom, the thing to know that I was talking about winterization and that sort of thing. Your water pump, your water filter, canister, things like that, it's all under here. Or I should say in there. So it's got a fake hinge, or it has a hinge, but it's not a latch. You have to take those two screws out and you can open it up and you'll see everything in there. There's also a valve you have to turn when you're winterizing it, so it draws the antifreeze through that port on the outside I showed you instead of drawing from the fresh water tank. So that's where you would take care of that too, of course. There's some storage under the bed. You got your emergency escape window there. Light switch, but they're telling you there's wiring back here for a sensor for the HVAC system. This trailer, the reason it's a 50 amp trailer, this is pre-wired for a second air conditioner. It would go right in here. It's pretty easy to install, so if you're ever interested, we do that. But this is pre-wired for a second air conditioner if you want to add one. Okay. Bathroom is pretty self-explanatory. It has a nice fan, 4-speed fan. This is a GFCI. Keep in mind that all the plugs in the trailer are wired through a GFCI. So if the one on the outside pops, let's say you got something plugged into it pops, you're going to reset it here. It has a kind of green device here. This thing here is the shower miser. All right. So what this is a recirculating pump, or circulating pump, recirculating. So basically what it does when you're heating up the hot water for the shower, it just runs the water in a loop, right? So you can put it in a different position to do it, and it'll just loop around. So the water loops from here, back around the water pump, through the water heater, and here. So therefore you're not sending fresh water down the drain. So in an area where there's drought, you know, you're not wasting water, one thing, and you're also not wasting space in your gray tank with perfectly good water. So it just sends it around in a circle. When it heats up, this bluish, this blue plastic part will turn a beigeish color. You'll see it plain as day. That's telling you the water's hot. Then you put it back in the other position, and it works like a regular shower, right? So it's just a way to save good water, so you don't waste it, and it works really well. It's called a shower miser. Everything that I tell you about, you can look at their manufacturer's videos online. Plus, there's in the packet there is also more literature on it. But this is the shower miser. So it's kind of an eco device, I guess you would call it. Okay. The toilet works like any other RV toilet. It sits right over a black tank, right? You got a flush pedal there. You can't use it dry. Dry meaning with nothing in the black tank, no chemical or water. So when you get to the campground, you hook up your power underwater, you come in here, you put a dose of chemical in the bowl, you stand on the pedal and let at least a gallon of water along with the chemical go into the black tank, then you can use it. You can't use it dry because the smell will be terrible, plus it'll get clogged up. So you always want chemical and at least a gallon of water in there. Most people use a bit more, but it's up to you. So keep that in mind. Okay, you also have TV hookups here. There's a backer plate here, so you'd want to get the backer or the bracket that swings out this way, right? Always, if you can, spend the extra money to get the one that locks into place. That way you don't have to hang straps. If you go on like Amazon and if you punch in RV, TV mounts, whatever brackets, they'll show the same ones that we see in the trailers. They got a wide base, so you get it's very strong, and they lock into place, that sort of thing. So keep that in mind, that it's good to get a better bracket that locks into place. It's just a cleaner install. And of course your hookups and everything. Okay, let's see here. See if I forgot anything here. I think we're good. Look around. Yep. Okay, so I think that covers it. So I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Please remember what I said about inspecting the roof every 60 days. That's part of your maintenance. You got to keep an eye on the roof. You're protecting your investment. It's just part of it, owning a trailer. So make sure you do that. And right now this is in camping mode. All the antifreeze has been purged from the system. It's replaced with fresh water. The water heater is in camping mode and full right now. So you're all set. Never run the water heater without water in it, okay? Thank you.